Hello, it's Ethan MUSOLINI, the Merchant of Success, once again in this particular program, our web class, whichever word you choose, how to gain clarity for your purpose. Now, even before I get into definitions, this is a topic I'm super excited about. Reason being, I got to get introduced to this idea of purpose. Today I was sharing on Facebook Live that I got introduced to this concept of purpose when I was at the university. That was either 98 or 99, one of those years. So that should give you an idea of how young I am. And so it's a friend of mine who introduced me to this idea, and he gave me a book by the late Dr. Miles Monroe. The book is titled In Pursuit of Purpose. I'd never heard about the idea of purpose. So I was very lucky that I got exposed to this idea of purpose when I was, in my very early 20s then. So therefore, I started, exploring this idea of how we are all engineered or created for a reason, and you have to find out what that reason is. And if you do not find it, then you'll be frustrated. If you find it, then you will live a more fulfilled life, so to speak. And some of these illustrations I use. See, here is the deal. Let me just give you a big picture. Some people say I'm stressed, or I don't like what I'm doing and all that. And the illustration that comes to mind, you see, this is a bottle of water. This is my glass. So if I pour water in this, it's very easy for me to, for this glass to do its job. It is for the, for liquid, so meaning I can use it for water. Now, question is, if I used this glass in place of a shovel, if I'm building, meaning there's some gravel or stones, and I have to keep, scooping some stones off the ground or concrete off the ground to throw that concrete to the truck, what do you think will happen to this glass? Please type in the chat box. If instead of using it for water to drink, and I use it to scoop gravel or concrete off the ground to keep throwing it to the truck, what will happen to this glass? Please, everyone type in the chat box. Give me your answer. What will happen to this glass if instead of using it for water or juice, I use it to scoop stuff? Not stuff, to scoop little rocks or gravel or concrete to, instead of using a spade, if I used this, instead of a spade, I used this glass to scoop little rocks and gravel to throw it on the truck, what will happen? Okay, let me see. There are some responses coming through. Well, Grace says it will break. Priscilla, it will disintegrate eventually. It will break and get stuck in the concrete. It would get damaged or break. Thank you so much for it will be damaged. It will break with time. Absolutely. Thank you so much for the responses. And that, my friend, is the answer. Because then we'll be using this glass for which wasn't its original purpose. Meaning, if you use this glass for a wrong purpose, it will break or it will get damaged. Guess what? A good number of people are in wrong engagements, and therefore they are breaking down mentally, emotionally, spiritually. But if this glass is used for its own purpose, which is liquids, then it stays intact. It's cool, it's calm. So I want you to keep that idea or that metaphor at the back of your mind, because it's a very useful way to think about purpose. And that's what we are looking for, and say, okay, good. Then you need to know, and sometimes people are doing what they are not supposed to do because they lack clarity. They do not know. There is a saying that if you knew better, you would do better. And therefore, my goal is that by the end of this session, I would have given you some hints if your purpose is not so clear, such that you can start, if you're a glass, you start using it for water. And if it's a spade, or if you're a spade, then you can do proper gravel. All right. So that's the insight. And as we are moving along, here is the framework. Again, I follow in training. That is, we look at clarity, then we think through the mindset required, then the strategies required, and then the skill sets required, and of course, mastery, or what we need to make sure that we master this particular subject. So let's go right away with clarity. When we talk about purpose, okay, so the dictionary defines it as intention or a resolution, okay, typically. And your intention is to live in a certain way, okay. Now, having said that, for this particular context beyond the academics, it's your purpose is you discovering your reason for being on planet Earth, okay. How come you're on this planet Earth? There must be a reason, see? And here's the deal. If this pen has a purpose, if this phone has a purpose, if this bottle has a purpose, definitely, absolutely, you must be having a purpose. The job is to find it. So in this case, in this particular context, purpose, you're talking about why are you here on planet Earth, or what's your reason for being here? Now, why is purpose clarity important? Clarity on what's important versus unimportant. It's good for your health. Ultimately, when you know what your purpose is, then it gives you an idea of what's important in the moment and what's not. Also, purpose gives you a head start towards achieving your goals, because then your goals, if your goals are in alignment with your purpose, then it's much, much easier for you to realize your goals. Also, a constant drive and passion. It becomes a source of happiness to you and those around you. So when you're living according to purpose, then it, you know why you're living on planet Earth. Then you know why you're doing something. That becomes a driver. And it also becomes a source of happiness in a sense that when people see that you're passionate about what you're doing and you're living according to purpose, it will vibrate through you. You will radiate that happiness. You radiate that sense of focus and divine drive that really attracts other people to you and around you, which is always a fantastic thing. It also enables you to live a value-based life, meaning you're living based on what is important, on what is valuable, on what is key, on what adds value to this world, because your purpose ultimately is about what is it that is going to add value to the world, all right? So just before we continue, I would love to please type in the chat box if this makes sense so far, what purpose is and why it's important, all right? All right, let me see if clear. Okay, all right, that's good to know that it's clear. All right, now let's go to the mindset. The 4 important mindsets to support purpose clarity. Number 1 is that gaining purpose clarity isn't a sprint, it is a marathon. So what I mean by that is you keep working on your purpose as you grow in life. It is a process. It's not like you switch on and off and it's on or off. Typically, it's a process. You keep discovering, you keep fine-tuning. And even I knew before I left university, I knew what my purpose was. But over time, I've kept refining it and still on the same path. So we will typically find, at least in my own personal experience, you find that the key is to find your path. When I say path, it's for you to know the journey. And that journey, assuming you're moving from here to 250 miles away, I'm in Kampala right now. Let's just suppose my journey is, I know that the destination is in Mbarara. Now, I could use different routes to get there, but ultimately, at least I'm clear in terms of what my destination is. In the same way, usually you find that with your purpose, you will discover what your path is, but then remember, you could have some detours or have some, you could use a shorter route, a longer route, you could move around, you could pause in between, but ultimately you know what the general direction is. So the core is for you to know your path and to know that it's a process and to know that it's a marathon, not a sprint, whereby you just switch on and off you go or get there. And it also, purpose clarity comes to different people at different times, stages of life. You might be 45 without having a purpose clarity, and it's okay. It's okay up until now, of course. Now that you're with me, then it's time to start uncovering it. Earlier today, when I was on Facebook Live, I was talking about a 60-some-year-old woman who didn't know what her purpose was. And she finally got it. She's like, oh, wow, now I know why I'm here on planet Earth. So at whatever age bracket that you are, if you don't know what it is up until now, do not beat yourself up. That's why you're here. God brought you here. Whether you're attending live or watching the recording, it's perfectly fine. You're discovering or getting clarity over your purpose at the perfect time. Okay. Do not say, so and so, because some people say, oh, well, for you, you're very lucky. Well, how come I didn't get it when I was as young as you are? Well, me, I don't know. God wanted me to have it then. Why? I have no idea. And I'm just very grateful that I was clear at that age. The other mindset, which is important, is the courageous mindset. Okay. Purpose clarity can seem to be an insurmountable task, and it takes a lot of courage and determination to pen down one and follow it to the dot. That's been very true in my personal life, at least I will tell you that. When I made a decision to do what I'm doing, at least here in Uganda, there wasn't an industry of motivational speaking. When I started calling myself a motivational speaker way back in 1998, when I was at the university, I know if you make research, there was no industry of motivational speaking, those of us who are mature enough. But for some reason, I had this blind courage or blind faith that that's what I was supposed to do. And I started calling myself that, and I started trudging along. Now, it takes a lot of courage and blind faith sometimes, because you might discover that your purpose is quite unusual. At least in its own time then, for me, it was. Now it isn't, because now things have opened up. The point I'm making is, once you discover your purpose, you need the courage to get on the journey. The fourth mindset is, do not downgrade your goals, upgrade yourself. Do not downgrade your purpose, upgrade yourself. I got that idea from the late Jim Rohn, and for him, he phrased it differently. He said, do not wish things were easier, wish you were better. So meaning it's not about, downgrading the thing, it's about you upgrading yourself. Because if this is the challenge and it's seemingly above your head, do not wish it was here. Now work at being up here. I hope on the camera it's up here. Because once you're up here, then you can deal with what is down here. The challenge is when people see something above them, then they run around to look for something below here. And I'm saying, no, ask yourself, what are the skills, what are the mindsets, what are the temperaments that I need to make sure that I can address this easier? Now, that's a mindset that is very practical, that is useful in any endeavor in your life, beyond even the current subject we are talking about. Even if you today you took just that mindset that I've shown you, that I've demonstrated before you right now, then you'll be amazed at what's possible before you. So these are core mindsets that you truly need to embody as you get onto this journey. Okay. So before we move into the strategies, I want to confirm that, again, we are together. There are 4 dimensions that help you to define your purpose. Number 1 is community. What do you think your responsibility is to others? Now you might ask yourself, but how do I get to know? Let me give you a clue. The clue is there are those types of people that you feel attracted to. So for me, I would say for some reason, I am quite versatile, but then I will tell you something. I feel I connect so easily to 3 groups of people. One is professionals or career professionals. I find it very easy to connect with entrepreneurs because I am. And then young people, youthful people, I get connected to them very easily. So I find speaking to young people, especially teenagers, then professionals who are working, and then entrepreneurs, because I am myself, I find it very easy. So there are those communities you feel, it's like a magnet. It's just like when you go to a party, you feel drawn to certain people. I'm sure you've ever been to a party or a gathering and you feel drawn to someone, like it's like there's a magnetic pull. In the same way, you feel a magnetic pull towards a certain community. It could be the elder, it could be women or girls or young boys, whatever it is. And here it doesn't matter what that community is. If you feel pull towards that, then that is a sign of your assignment. It's a sign, it's a signal from the Spirit, it's a signal from the Holy Spirit. Say, hey, those are the people I want you to pay attention to. Okay. So the community idea is very, very important, or hint. The other strategy to pay attention to is the service. How can I be of service to those? How can you be of service to those around you? It could be work, home, social groups, place of worship. So community is a grouping, then service is the doing, is the execution. It's what you can offer those people. Very, very important for you to have an idea, to start getting triggers in your brain and in your heart in terms of what you can do. And then I'll actually show you another arm that gives us an idea of what you can do. The other key is values. You need to think about your values. What do you stand for? Or what is it that you stand for? What is most important to you? What is crucial? What is it that gives you goosebumps if it's done or not done? That is something that you have to get clarity about. Values, values, values is absolutely crucial or critical, this aspect. Next is legacy. And we hinted on this last time about when we were talking about personal branding. What do you think your life's legacy will be? Or what is your desired life's legacy? So these are 4 buckets that you need to reflect upon, or that you need to think about as you're exploring this idea of your purpose on planet Earth. Okay, and then I will show you a model on how you can do that. But as you unpack it, it has to be in this realm of thinking about the community, the kind of service, the values, and of course, the legacy. Cool. Cool. All right. So Goreta has asked a question which is related to what I've just covered. So let me just clarify it now. Goreta is asking, I would like to clarify the difference between community and service, since service should be to something. Okay. Let me go back so that I show you these buckets. Then it will be clearer. So when you look at the two, community is a grouping or a group of people or a section of society that you feel pulled towards. Now, service is the specific, are the specifics, okay? When I say specifics, it is, for example, again, just clarify, just to give a scenario here. Both of you, so I told you, for example, one of the groups I love is about professionals. And now you might also be pulled towards professionals. Now, you might find, for example, whereas for me, I like talking about productivity, work skills, attitude, and all that. For you might find there are people whose service is going to be about spiritual growth for professionals. So meaning that's their service. The service is spiritual growth for professionals. And then for the spiritual growth for professionals. And then for another party like me, it's about productivity at their workplace. So that's the distinction. I know it. I know that they look almost closely related, but then when we say service, because that's the key question, how can you be of service to those around you? In this case, the community around you, whether it's work, home, social groups, or place of worship, whatever, how can I be of service? So meaning you feel pulled, and again, you feel pulled to a certain group, and then it's okay, how can I be of service to this group? What is the specific? But first, it starts with you identifying the community and then knowing the kind of service you need to offer. And when you're serving those people, you need to be clear about the values you stand for so that you can also communicate that. And ultimately, you need to know what sort of legacy you're going to leave behind. Okay, you're welcome, Goretti says, thanks for the clarity. You're welcome. Yeah, and the rest of us, of course, in case you have a question, please, we'll have Q&A. It's just that if I discover that, what you're asking needs more clarity for what I've just said, then we'll go on. Community is our surroundings, where service is what supports community. Okay, fantastic. That's a great distinction, Brian. Thank you so much for that extra dimension. I like that, okay? Yeah, and that's one of the reasons I love these live sessions, okay? So now that we are done with the strategies, let's think through the skill set. And we're going to look at the 4 steps to getting clarity for your purpose. Number 1, identify who am I? What is important to you? What defines you? What are your passions? Who are the most important people? The things, the places, the achievements. This gives you dimension quickly, all right? So what are my strengths, values, and dreams? So you need to find out what are your strengths, what are you really amazing at? And usually the strength, I like how one of my teachers defined it. A strength, usually you find it's a gift which you develop. Once you have a gift and you develop it, then it becomes a strength. And then of course your values and dreams. So just pause this video for us who are live. I'm going to pause, then go ahead, pause this video and what are the kinds of things that give meaning to you? You see, we do many things, but there are those that give us incredible meaning. So for me, when I teach something to someone, or I see a light bulb go on, it's like I've won $1 million. I'm like, yeah! Of course, I don't scream like that, but inside me, like I am jiggy. I'm like, wow. Whether I'm teaching my daughter or engaging with you guys or whoever I engage. So meaning passing on wisdom or knowledge gives me so much meaning. It makes me feel alive and valuable. And so there are those things that when you do, you feel valuable. You feel like you're adding meaning. You feel like your life means something. What's that? Write those things down. Let's go. Pause this video and write those things down. Next. What kind of person am I seeking to become? There's always that yearning of that individual that you want to become. One of my best friends, my high school friends, were having a chat, and he's in one of the African countries at the moment. He now has a PhD, and he's such a big time achiever. I mean, he set up a business, he set up a certain business entity, and in 3 years, they were able to generate $1 million. Not $1 million, $1 billion, okay? This is for an international entity, yes, and yet, I mean, he set it from scratch, and in 3 years, $1 billion in revenue. That's incredible. That's incredible. But guess what? He told me that for him, his desire is to become a top executive in Africa. That's his desire. So for you, what are you seeking to become? For me, I'm seeking to become a world-class executive coach, motivational speaker, and trainer. That's what I'm seeking to become. I want to become that kind of person whereby in a matter of minutes, I can transform lives. In a matter of seconds, I can transform lives. And as a result, because of that desire, for example, I've figured out a way now, not figured out, I've gone through some programs and modalities whereby if you have something emotionally disturbing you, in a matter of minutes, we can reduce it to 0. We can wipe it out in just a matter of minutes, and it's gone. And it's you to confirm that it's gone for whatever is disturbing you emotionally. So that's one of my drives. I love seeing that kind of work. For example, last night I was coaching one of my clients, and she told me she was like at level 0 in terms of how she was feeling, and boom, pushed her to level 9 in a matter of minutes. But not just feeling that, and the emotional, the tense emotional situation she was going through, she had rated it to a level 7. Yeah, she had rated it to a level of 7 on a scale of 0 to 10, where 10 it's unbearable and 0 it's totally gone. So I worked with her using these modalities, and within 15 or 16 minutes, we had reduced that, we had wiped out that, what was disturbing her emotionally, to 0, and she was smiling. Now, that's the kind of person I want to become. You see, I talk about it with pride because I love seeing that kind of stuff. And I've invested a lot of time and energy and money to learn these skill sets over the years. It makes me feel so much alive, and I want to become that kind of person, the go-to person, whereby you have something emotionally disturbing, boom, in a couple of minutes we wipe it out and you're smiling. You know, you're struggling with your public speaking or communication skills, boom, in a couple of sessions. Like right now, I'm at a level whereby with just 5 sessions, 4 to 5 sessions, I'll boost your effectiveness by at least 50%. Now, I want to reach a level where I can confidently look at you in the eyes and say, yes, I will increase it by at least 90%. Now, I guarantee 50% minimum, okay? So that's the kind of, I want to be that person whereby in a few sessions or in a couple of minutes, boom, there's total transformation, whether it's an organization or an individual. So for you, what kind of person are you seeking to become? All right, pause this video and go. All right, now the key is, Great says, what I want to become keeps changing. Well, guess what? It's okay. All I'm saying is, that's why I said it's a journey. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And what you can do is, of course, when you have, so for you, I know we do when you get a coach like me to help you get more clarity, that's fine. What I want to become keeps changing. It's okay so long as you keep seeking and desiring and looking for that clarity, and you don't just give up like that. And sometimes we are who we are for a season, okay? Because you might find, in my view, it is very, very possible that, for example, you might find that now you're called to speak to young girls in high school, and then over time you find you feel more inspired to talk to young women at the workplace, or you feel inspired to talk to business people. Well, it could be that God at that particular season felt that you were the best messenger, best equipped to serve that community at that particular moment in those particular circumstances. And then 5 years later, God notices that you're the best position now to talk to entrepreneurs. Correct? Does that make sense? Please let me know if that makes sense. So for me, the key thing, so what I would say is the most important thing is to keep tuned in. What is that? Okay. Susan is asking, could there be more than one given the different aspects in your life? Of course, definitely. There are some people whereby you find it's not just one area or one aspect. There are people where you find they are multidimensional, and that's okay. What I have to emphasize is it has to be true to you. It has to make meaning. It shouldn't be something you go seek out there to see, oh, he's doing that thing, I should also do that thing. No, is it true to you? Is it from the core of your being? Because one of the biggest challenges I see is we have many copycats. Just because you see someone doing something doesn't mean that that's your thing, unless you really feel that that's what you're meant to do and you're inspired to do it, not because you see, because I'll give you an example. There are people who come to say this space that I'm in, they say, Ethan seems to be making a lot of money, I better go there. Tell you what, if your inspiration is just money, tell you what, it will not last. Because even people will hear it in your spirit, they will, then before long, you can't sustain it. So the point I'm making is it has to be true. It has to be from your core. Now, let me share with you then my favorite model of this. So those are the steps. Then if you really want on one quick space, this is it, the one that I've shared for years, which makes so much sense to me. So to discover your purpose. So you need clarity over your talents and gifts, okay? So meaning, what are those things that you do so easily that other people can look at you and say, wow, how do you do that? Oh, how on earth did you pull that off? That's a gift. It means you came coded with that in your system, in your DNA. I mean, my girl, my 7-year-old, she does lots of art. And I mean, I used not to do those things. I mean, I can't even do some of the things she does at this age. Well, she came coded with that. My wife is gifted in art too, so she took part of that. She took part of that gift. And you know, and yet she's also so, she has such empathy in her. She knows, you know, she comes and arranges my table, and then the other time I found she had filled my bottle with water. She's 7, you know, she has that, it's already encoded in her to care. It's like, okay, daddy's table should look organized and daddy's bottle needs refilling. I'm like, how? She just turned 7 a few days ago. That's a gift. She's gifted in that. I was not wired like that, those things she's doing. Okay. So I was wired. So for me, what comes so easily to me are things related to communication, speaking. I can just show me people. I can speak for hours without notes. Not because I am this totally unique individual. No, that's the gift God gave me. Now, put me in front of an Excel sheet to do numbers. That's torture. Please don't call me. Don't. That's not my thing. And there are people who will be in front of numbers for days and they are comfortable, they are happy, they are whistling. And, yeah. Okay, so I beg your pardon. That's the talent. Talent are things that you do easily. So I was mixing it up then with passion. Passion is something that you love. What are those things that you love that come so easily to you? All right. Now, For me, I also love speaking. Now, the beauty, the magic is if you can find something that you're gifted at and also love, that's even better. Now, not everything that you love, does it mean that you're gifted at it? I love singing. But guess what? Whenever I sing, my wife says, please save us. Please save us. Now, my 7-year-old, when she was young, I said, like, oh, Daddy, that's great. But these days, now that she's wise and exposed, she's like, Daddy, no, Daddy, no. So I have the passion for singing, but it's not my talent or gift. So just to give you that distinction. So the magic is if you find that your gift or talents are in alignment with what you love, that's where the magic is. Then you can write it here. So as we are doing the exercise, you write your talents or gifts. So please draw these 3 concentric circles. So your talents or gifts, you write them here. You write your passions here. And if it is both a talent and a passion, you also add it here. So for me, I would say speaking and encouraging people is a gift and a talent, and it's also a passion. So I would write speaking and encouraging people would be here in the middle. Now, singing would be here under passion, but it wouldn't be in the 3rd concentric circle. I mean, in the middle here. And the next is difference, which we had hinted on. So where do you want to make a difference? Now, this goes to the community. Is it girls? Is it women? Is it men? Is it young boys? So is it children? So you work around the community aspect. So I'm going to give you 1 minute this time around, not 30 seconds. And please press pause and work and fill in this. Again, the trick is then once you find, just to add another dimension, once you find something that you're gifted at and passionate about, so for me, which was speaking and encouraging people, they say, okay, how do I then use this to make a difference in people? Then motivational speaking came in, and coaching, training. Therefore, coaching and training is here in the center here. Speaking, coaching, training, facilitating. So then that's how it ends up here in the 3rd side, I mean in the ultimate core. So in that ultimate core, typically you find that's where your purpose is. You find, again, just to recap, you find that you're talented and gifted at something and you love it, so it's here. And then you feel pulled towards a certain community. So then you ask yourself, how do I use what is here to serve this community here? And here goes in the center. Now, what's in the center, usually it's in alignment with your purpose. Now, let me give you one other clue, one other extremely important tip. You might go through all this and then you're not so clear about what your purpose is. There is one guaranteed way that never fails. And that guaranteed way is ask God, ask your creator, pray. Say, God, what is my purpose? What am I supposed to do here on planet Earth? That is a never fail strategy. Why? Because if you really want the ultimate purpose of this pen, if you ask the manufacturer, he will tell you. If you want to know the ultimate purpose of this cover of this phone, just go to the manufacturer will tell you. If you want to know the ultimate purpose of this glass, go to the manufacturer and the manufacturer will tell you. Because before they manufactured this, it was very clear in their heads what that was meant to be. And therefore, if you want to know the ultimate purpose for these headsets, go ask the manufacturer and the manufacturer will tell you. In this case, the manufacturer is God. God, your creator, knows why you're on planet Earth. Why did you create me? Why am I here on planet Earth? And God will clarify that to you over time. Listen, 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 listen. The answers will come. That ask and you shall receive. So you need to ask your creator God, the manufacturer, the original creator, the original manufacturer, not what society says, not what mommy says, not what daddy says, not what society says, but what does your creator say? And I also know that we have parents here, so let me use this opportunity to communicate this. One of the challenges I see is how parents And guardians have killed their children's purpose, callings, because someone wants their child to become a doctor or an engineer or a lawyer, whoever it is, and they force them and box them. And the child is saying, no, 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 my gift is this, and my passion is here. Mommy, dad, leave me to be here. And you say, no, 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 I want you to be here because I wanted to be there and I didn't make it. No, 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 no. I'm seeing Joanne and James, thriving, making millions and millions of dollars. I want you to be here. Please stop stealing your child's calling. Please, I beg you. And please pass on this message, because I sometimes engage with students in high schools or universities, and you hear them saying, I was forced to do this. I know of someone personally that really wanted to do arts and drama and film and all that, and the parent forced them to do law. And now the guy finished the law and said, okay, daddy, the degree is here. Now he's scavenging around for jobs in the entertainment industry. So the key thing is, so that was a side note, but it's something I'm extremely passionate about, because my dad wanted me to become a medical doctor or law or engineer. I failed sciences, and luckily I talked to him. I said, Daddy, these things I have not, can you allow me to do arts? And he allowed me to do arts, and I'm so thankful to him because he made that decision before he passed on. And boom, I did arts and managed to qualify for government sponsorship, because in senior 5, I scored 17% in mathematics. I said, Daddy, this thing is not going to work. He said, okay, fine. I did history, economics, geography, and divinity, and I qualified for government sponsorship. And here I am telling stories, and I'm paid to tell stories. And I love it. I would have made such a very stressed out doctor, because I don't want to be around hospitals, unfortunately. And possibly because I've grown up with so much pain, I don't want to be around pain. So I would have been a tortured doctor. I would have been a tortured engineer. I just want to talk to people, to be with you. You see, I'm alive when I'm talking to you. This is it. This is it. I mean, this is it. And I'm happy. So for me, it's crucial that as a parent, you have, or guardian, you have a crucial role to play in the future of that child or that person. A role to play in not only in that person, but in the world, because sometimes you hear of, oh, that doctor, oh, it kills people. No, well, it could be that indeed they are stressed out. They were forced into that corner, and yet you hear, oh, that doctor, he touches you, you're healed. Well, they do it with joy, and that joy, that love itself heals people. And then the other one who's stressed out, that stress adds more stress to this person who comes sick. So, all right, I know I'm going on a tangent here, but I'm sure you're getting where I'm coming from. Purpose has to be true to you, and give your children space to be true to who they were called to be or what they are meant to be. All right, cool. Now pause this video and go through these concentric circles and talent, gifts again, see where your passion is. Now, ideally, if you can find where your passion and talent meets, you combine them here in the center here, and then think about the community you feel called to serve, and then ask yourself, okay, how do I use this thing that I'm gifted at and passionate about to serve this community? For me, I told you here in the center, that's where I have speaking and coaching and training and counseling. I also do counseling. Yeah, in case you're interested, by the way, you could, if you want some of those services, you're welcome to leave your contacts. All right. So pause this video and do that. So your purpose should answer a couple of questions. Number 1, who am I? Number 2, what do I do? Number 3, who do I do it for? Number 4, who do they want? What do they want or need? So meaning this community you're pulled to serve, let's say women or girls, what do they really need that you could be of service to? And then next, how will they be changed? Okay, such that ultimately your purpose statement could look something along these lines. So please write those questions down. Who am I? I am Ethan MUSOLINI. I do coaching, speaking, facilitating, and consulting for executives, professionals, and entrepreneurs to transform their careers, perspective, and businesses so that they can realize their dreams much faster than they would have without my services. Okay, so that's how when all these questions are answered, then you develop a purpose statement. Okay, but then you would have gone through this process here, the one we did earlier. So these processes, when you've gone through these processes with clarity, that and this, then answering that or this becomes much, much easier. Then you can come up with a purpose statement, okay? So I would encourage you to write these questions down, because then you answer them, you pause this video, answer these questions, then in the process you should be able to extract what we would call a purpose statement, okay? So from skill set then, we need to look at mastery. Mastery in this perspective, you use the reflection sheet given to you, send the results to me by Friday. Well, this is for people who will go for who will be looking at so there are a couple of questions that came in, and they are really quite a handful, but very, very useful. So, all right, so let me start with this from Sarah Buga. Ethan, how do you discover your talent if you have never known? So one of the things you could do, Sarah, is you could ask people who know you, like your parents or teachers or coaches, close friends. So, okay, what could be my talent? What do you see me gifted at? Because you see, there is reflection and also getting a mirror, someone out there who can be your mirror and give you that feedback. The second thing you can do is do as many things as possible, explore, because you will discover yourself when you attempt things. I discovered speaking when I saw an advert on the board in high school. I never done debating in high school to my recollection, but I saw an ad and I just jumped in, started speaking, boom, I was among the best. And we went to the district to compete, boom, I was the best in the district, the best guy and the best lady. Then we went to debate at Parliament, to contribute to the current 1995 Constitution. If I had not participated, I wouldn't have discovered that side of me. So it's very important to participate through and through, okay? Then Patience asked, what about when none of my talents or things I'm passionate about are not applicable in my everyday life? I have a good job with a good salary, but I've been reduced to working for the salary even with my master's. The master's is something I'm passionate about, but not applicable at work. Well, the Patience, I would encourage you to, all right, so I would encourage you to reach out to me. I have a program I call career transition program. So if that is something that is of, anyway, just call me, then we need a deeper conversation about that, because I need to get the context and I may not be able to get a deeper feel about this. So one of my team members can send you a text message, and at the end, please confirm if you've received it, my contacts. But let me just share in terms of general terms, because I believe your question is also useful for us in general terms. Now, you see, it is all about mindset, how you choose to think about something. I really believe that whatever your passion is, or if you're gifted in something, you can always find a way to make a living out of it. That's my belief. But it starts from there, from you choosing to believe that in your mind and heart, and then ask yourself that question. Because I'll tell you how I started. That's the question I asked myself. I said, I love speaking. I love encouraging people. How can I make a career or a living out of this? That's how I ended up into motivational speaking and coaching and training. So it's about asking yourself the right question, because already in your language, I'm seeing when you say, I'm passionate about, but not applicable at work. And who says that you must be at your current workplace? There could be options out there. But again, like I mentioned, patience, we can talk, and then I give you hints. There's a program I do privately or on one-on-one for career coaching. But for all of us out there, so the key question you need to ask yourself, how can I utilize what I have? Or how can I make a living out of what I've got? Or how can I add value? How can I package this thing I'm passionate about to make a living out of that? Such that, because my belief is you should be paid to do what you love doing. And Patience, you can give me a hint if I've at least given you some ideas. Sarah, how do you discover your talent if you've never known? Oh, that's the one I answered. Wanjiru, Patience, what about when none of my talents or things I'm passionate about are not applicable in my everyday life? I have a good job with a good salary, but I've been reduced to, okay, that's the same. The master's is something I'm passionate about, but not applicable at work. Yeah, so that's the same question I believe I answered. Akahanjirwa, how do you get opportunities to develop your gifts? That's an excellent question. So what you can do is you ask yourself, and Kahanjirwa, is this Josephine, the one who actually invested in the program? Let me know. Yes, you can type in the chat box with a yes or no. And how do you get opportunities to develop your gifts? Ask. Let me give you an example. Let's just suppose I am gifted in doing numbers and I don't have those numbers. So mute. And I'm not gifted in the numbers. Just give me a moment. Yeah. So Nathan, you can help me with that. Assuming I'm gifted in numbers and I don't have where to engage them. So what I would do is I would ask myself this question: who could be needing this service or this gifting of mine? Then you map it out. Then the second question is, how can I present myself to them? And the easiest way I know how, Kahanjirwa, is to say, you know what? I am gifted at this, I'm passionate about this. I'm willing to come in on weekends when I'm not working at work. Every Saturday, I'm willing to help you with your numbers for 2 hours. Are you open to that? Now, if I really need someone who does numbers and someone gifted is willing to offer me 2 hours for free, then I would quickly jump at that opportunity. Kahanjirwa, please let me know if I have answered your question. Nathan, could you kindly speak into the significance of having a mentor coach on this purpose journey as Destiny Accelerators? Absolutely. So there are some people for example, I have Succeeding Daily Mastermind where we meet every Wednesday, actually, yeah, at 6 today, I'll be meeting them. So see, when you have a third party, assuming I was your coach, then it means I'm not emotionally attached. And therefore, I'm able to see things with clarity because when you're emotionally attached, you may miss some things. So sometimes I find it very useful to get a coach or mentor in this aspect. For me, I have coaches and mentors that I pay, that I engage with on a weekly basis. So that's cool. Does my purpose have to necessarily be something I love to do, comfortable doing, or it could also be something that makes me so uncomfortable and unsettled? Rachel Asimo, wow, what a question. Rachel, I'm not so sure about that. What I know for a fact is if it is something you're not, okay, have to necessarily be something I love to do? Well, I would say that the way it works is, just give me a moment. Looks like, just give me a moment. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so what I would say is my belief is, so number one, it should be something, my belief is it should be something that you're excellent at and love doing. Now, comfortable is a different idea. It does not have to be comfortable, okay? When I say comfortable, what I mean by that, for example, I know that I need to go global. Am I feeling very comfortable at it? No, but if people are in the room, I'm very comfortable. Now, when I think about, I need to reach out so and so and market here and market there. I want to go global. That's is it comfortable? No, I'm uncomfortable about it. It's unsettling. And yet I know that I love encouraging and inspiring people, and I know I'm excellent at it. So at least in terms of execution, it should be something that you love and gifted at. That's my belief. In terms of uncomfortable, it may not necessarily be, there could be angles or areas of that work that you're uncomfortable with. That's okay. And here is something else to note, that it's okay to seek for help or support in your search for purpose, all right? Let me see, is there another question I haven't answered? Nathan, how better can couples best live out and realize their family purpose when each had a different purpose before marriage without conflicting interests? Wow, what a question. I would say, number one, seek divine guidance, God knows, and pray about it, and also have an honest conversation about it. So then God can reveal to you what your family purpose is, and then over time, I believe it will come through. And let me see, what is the other question? Okay, very interesting. All right, cool. Question, in a business setting, could you propose possible ways of how I could achieve more buy-in, ownership, and belief from my employees in our company purpose and vision? Now that's a different segment. Now that's business stuff. That's reach out to Nathan. Reach out to Nathan and get his contacts. There's a program I did, Sales and Marketing Challenge for 90 days. That's where that question would really be in, because now you're talking about sales and marketing. That's what I propose. Goretti says, is asking a question. Okay, Josephine says, okay, answered, great. Goretti is asking, kindly recap on the difference between talent and gift. Well, it is used interchangeably, at least from my world. When I say talent or gift, it's the same. It's just that people find one word easier to own or process in their brain compared to the other. So I use both interchangeably. So it could be talent or talanta and gift. So it's what came encoded within you and with you, so to speak, and it's alive and well in you. All right. Cool. So let me pause.